video games known for its unique ability to transport players into alternative worlds. Imbued in this experience is the basis that players must feel like the character that they are playing. Combination of excellent game flow, fully developed storylines, and extreme realism enabled by cutting-edge graphics fidelity. Immersion often described as moments where players are experiencing increased concentration, loss of time perception, when a player achieves a balance between their skills and the game's demands, and to some extent, loss of self-awareness. Although these factors might be obvious, these effects are not easily achieved, and there are a variety of aspects that game developers often consider when going through their level design, taking into consideration the narrative produced by the writers and the memory allocation for specific areas to maintain steady gameplay. Level designers often need to achieve a perfect balance between these two, and they must create a map that not only could fit inside the world that they are playing, but also contains elements that helps the players visualize that reality. For a horror game like Dead Space, the level design are pivotal to the effectiveness of its horror elements. Immersion often tied closely to the narrative of the game itself, and the simplest way to achieve a high level of immersion is to make the game environment a reflection of reality itself. In a sense, this is often achievable by adopting the same practices of real life, taking into consideration of the narrative in Dead Space, which was set far into the future. Game designers can make references of real-life signs and adapt it to their video game. Logos and iconography, hinting at a world beyond the level design, helps ground the environment with a sense of reality. Safety reminders, company logos, and product advertisement is scattered throughout the environment, hinting at a living space occupied by employees and company officials that has their unique culture. Even though the environment is seemingly uncanny, there are signs of human life dotted across the cold walls of the Ishimura, further complementing its narrative of cold isolation of being stranded in an unfamiliar place, yet grounded in grim reality. More often than not, video games takes place in incredible places, but with one major flaw, it does not feel like an actual functioning space. But for the developers at Visceral Games, that space was given an unprecedented amount of scrutiny. Every room and every area is carefully considered to link them all together so that the players could understand that they were in a ship and traversing through a large functioning facility. While world building concentrates on the entire fictional game world from a large bird's-eye perspective, environmental storytelling concentrates on the specific rooms for a more discrete, zoomed-in perspective. What occurred in this space with these particular characters? This method of environmental storytelling, rather than explicitly describing events, shows the outcome of a series of events and then invites players to make up their own stories about what happened to cause that outcome. This practice is observed in almost every location of that space. They are given telltale signs on the horror that the Ishimura is hiding. Passenger bags scattered all over the floor. Dead bodies in the infirmary. Every piece of equipment is left in shambles. Messages is written hastily on the walls. Symbols and objects drawn and carved into the ship halls. Within each environment are small clues that hints towards their purpose, and that, when pieced together, unravel a greater mystery. This mode of storytelling is more collaborative than performative. The game's level designer will choose objects for a location, arrange them in a meaningful way, and then leave the final interpretation to the player. All of the factors mentioned come together in environmental storytelling to keep the player engaged at all time. They are forced to problem solve using the environment, their perception, their expectations, and the various clues and subtle nuances of the surroundings in the experience. To find a deeper meaning in the narrative presented to them, the player in this situation must make their own decision about how the various pieces presented to them fit together. The wonder, the mystery, and surprise of uncovering and being rewarded for understanding the different components of the narrative, game designers have allowed players to participate and contributes to the effectiveness of learning and the motivation to continue. Only in this way will the knowledge they aim to communicate to the player be internalized. Storytelling in video games can take many forms and embrace a wide range of values. Whether it is a modest backstory of the game world, a full life story of a single character, or the dominating storyline of a huge epic, storytelling must intertwine with the game environment. If video games told the entire story through dialogues and cutscenes, the medium would be nothing more than a film with interactive segments. In their interactive portions, games can tell and expand on its narrative, especially through the environment. In a way, environment design lends itself to the world of filmmaking. The art of setting the stage, or mise-en-scene, is a catch-all term for everything that contributes to a film visual presentation and overarching look. And the practice is no different from one another, albeit in a different form of medium. When the context of the environment is implied and implicitly understood through meaningful design, it allows for a more organic investment for the player identity within the narrative. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. If you are interested to look at the full article that I've written for this video, you can click the link in the description below.